What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. And if you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back. And I do appreciate the support. Guys, listen, news has come out of Memphis regarding the Memphis Police Department and the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division doing an investigation on them. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, a few months ago, they were supposed to be going nationwide with this after what happened to Tyree Nichols. And I think it's a good thing. A couple of cities were done. I know Louisville was one of the cities that they had looked at already. I can't remember the other one, but when I'll figure it out, I'll put it in the video. But yeah, the U.S. Attorney's Office of Western Tennessee, the District of Western Tennessee, is going to help with this investigation. Guys, I'm going to play what they said at the press conference today. I'm going to play about close to 3 minutes of it. That really just sums it up of why they're there. And I think it's a good thing. And I think it's a start for some of the reform and the complaints that a lot of citizens across the country had, especially in the low income areas. Because, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of policing is done differently in those areas. Let me put it that way. I mean, I was raised in one of those areas, so I know the difference. Whether you want to believe it or not, I think this right here, it came after Tyree Nichols. He's the cause of it. But I mean, this right here doesn't have anything to do with the court case. And when they speak, it'll open up a little bit about that. Check out what they got to say, guys, and we'll come back.
We are continuing with that breaking news we brought you at the top of midday. The Department of Justice holding a press conference right now about a civil rights investigation. We're going to take a live look into that press conference to see what update they have. Let's go there now.
Cops review. This federal civil rights investigation will find whether the department has violated the Constitution or federal civil rights laws in a systemic way. The Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Tennessee will conduct this investigation jointly. I'll note that this is a civil investigation entirely separate from any federal criminal investigation involving MPD officers. We have just briefed Mayor Strickland, Police Chief Davis, and Chief Legal Officer Michael Fletcher about this investigation, and we are pleased that they have pledged their cooperation. Our investigation will be thorough and objective. We will follow the facts and the law wherever they lead. We hope that community members throughout Memphis will trust us to share their stories, their experiences, and views about public safety in this city. We'll also meet with MPD officers and commanders, and we'll participate in ride-alongs to hear directly from officers about the challenges that they face. If there is reasonable cause to believe that there is a pattern or practice of constitutional or statutory violations, we will issue a public report of our conclusions. We will then aim to work cooperatively with the city and the police department to reach an agreement on remedies. If an agreement can't be reached, the Justice Department is authorized to bring a civil lawsuit seeking injunctive relief to address these violations. As we begin this investigation, we recognize the challenges that Memphis and its police department are facing, including one of the country's highest rates of violent crime. When crime is high, there is an understandable urgency to respond. Often the pressure to combat crime falls almost exclusively on the police, but the Justice Department recognizes that promoting public safety and preventing violent crime requires the collaboration of a broad array of community and agency partners. This new investigation will seek to identify ways to foster such collaboration and seek to build on one of the Justice Department's highest priorities, ensuring that cities and police departments protect communities' civil rights and keep people safe.
Guys, that was the news article and the news video. But I got the news article here by NBC News, and it's titled Justice Department to Investigate Memphis Police's use of force and possible discriminatory policy. Now, these articles that I read you guys, they have more information that'll be helpful to you in this video and understanding, what's going on out there in Memphis. And it says the Justice Department is investigating the city of Memphis and its police department for possible violations in its use of force, searches, and arrests, whether it engaged in discriminatory policy. Federal officials announced the civil pattern or practice inquiry Thursday, seeking to determine whether there are systematic, constitutional, or federal violations by the Memphis Police Department. Every person is entitled to constitutional and non-discriminatory policing in our country, Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division said in a statement. Based on our extensive review of publicly available information and information provided to us, there are grounds to open this investigation now. The investigation announced Thursday is separate from a federal criminal rights investigation of several Memphis police officers related to the death of Tyree Nichols. Guys, what they're saying there is this has nothing to do with the case at all or the outcome. So this is not evidence or anything like that. This is something separate after his death that this spurned this. Now it goes on to say, officials with the Memphis Police Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Nichols, 29, a black man, was brutally assaulted by Memphis police officers after he was pulled over on January 7th for alleged reckless driving. He died 3 days later. His death spurned citywide protests, with the demonstrators stalling highway traffic for hours one night. 5 Memphis police officers were fired and charged with second-degree murder and other counts. The officers, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills Jr., and Justin Smith, pleaded not guilty in February. The officers were members of a specialized unit called the Scorpions, short for a street crimes operation to restore peace in our neighborhoods. It launched in 2021 to combat a rise in homicides, gangs, and to investigate auto thefts. The Memphis Police Department will continue to fully cooperate and work closely with the Department of Justice and its members to conduct the next phase of their investigation, Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis said in the statement. As we have said all along, all Memphis PD officers are expected to act in accordance with their oath of office, their training, and their department policies at all times. In light of Nichols' death, federal officials also said Thursday that they would work to develop guidelines for cities across the country to help determine when to create such units and how to monitor them. There is always going to be a need for mission units that are trained and can do what general patrol officers can't, said Ed Abayashi, a law enforcement advisor to more than 100 police departments nationwide. But many specialized units can be aggressive and intimidating while targeting crime, and the behavior sometimes spills over to the rest of the community, he added. That's true. Attorney General Merrick B. Garland said in a statement Thursday that Nichols' death created enormous pain in the Memphis community and across the country. An examination would determine whether the department engaged in a pattern or a practice of unconstitutional conduct, discriminatory policing based on race, including a dangerously aggressive approach to traffic enforcement. Memphis community organizer Amber Sherman said she welcomes the federal investigation if it leads to less traffic enforcement and interaction with police. We do not need a federal investigation to tell us that Black residents are being discriminated against in extremely high numbers or having excessive force used against them, Sherman said. She said, many people in the community no longer want police officers to conduct traffic stops out of fear of being assaulted or worse. Memphis attorney Jared Spence, who is representing a black man in a lawsuit that accused Memphis officers of assaulting him, said the investigation is going to produce what I already know. Blacks and Hispanics in low-income neighborhoods are subject to unconstitutional police practices on a regular basis, Spence said. DOJ has ongoing investigations into police departments in Phoenix, Mount Vernon, New York City, Worcester, I guess that's Maryland, Massachusetts, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the Louisiana State Police, the New York City Police Department's Special Victims Unit, SVU. The Justice Department recently completed investigations in Louisville and Minneapolis, securing agreements in principle that both jurisdictions need to negotiate consent decrees to address the violations found. All right, guys, what I got from that whole thing is they're just going around doing their rounds at all these cities that have a numerous amount of complaints, of police brutality, so on and so forth, and places where a lot of people that are famously remembered, like George Floyd and Tyre Nichols, were at, where it spurred public outrage, whereas though they have to go in there and investigate. Now, the FBI was there earlier this year. Now, the U.S. Department of Justice said this is a civil rights matter, meaning they want to just make sure that no civil rights, stuff is violated as far as carrying out the law in a systemic way. Basically, they want to make sure this is not systemic racism. Now, when I was reading that excerpt, I noticed that CJ Davis was like, oh, well, yeah, they supposed to do what they supposed to do, and it's not supposed to be accepted. The truth is going to come out. Now, not counting this towards the trial, but I think this is a good thing, and I want to say something to you residents in Memphis that have been a witness to or a victim of any type of police brutality where you never told your story. This is your time. It's your city, and I want you to hear me. I was there. Y'all showed me crazy love, and I want to, just give y'all some wisdom. A lot of people running around here and all this stuff, and they know the right thing to do, but won't do it. A lot of people nationally now, a lot of us in the hoods got this no snitching policy. And you can take that whichever way you want to take it, but how is this problem ever going to get fixed if we don't say something when we see something? I mean, really, it has to ask you, do you really want change? Seriously, this is your chance to show that Tyre Nichols did not die in vain. It's your chance to come forward of people that have oppressed you, treated you like shit. You got somebody there that wants to hear your story. Even though it's the Department of Justice, there got to be a way that you can get in contact with them. I mean, the internet is a vast search machine. If there's a will, there's a way. A lot of y'all are on y'all phones and you're on computers every day looking at a lot of stuff that don't mean anything when you can put it to good use and take and make yourself heard. Like I said, it's your city. I don't know how to start hashtags or anything like that, but as far as that, I mean, if I started a hashtag, it would be tell your story. Because like I was saying, this man wasn't even doing anything. Like a lot of you weren't doing anything when Scorpion Team and all these other specialized units, or just cops having a bad day, felt as though they wanted to act indifferent with you. Say something. It don't make you weak. It make you right. It take a strong man to stand up and say something amid people that, look at you negative. And that's our problem. We got a nation of followers now and nobody to lead them. Look at our youth. Look at what they're doing. No respect for the elderly. themselves or the females that look like them. And this is not just black folk. It mentioned Hispanics. Hell, some whites that live in these type of areas. It ain't your color really, it's your culture and how they treat you when they come into the area. Because you know, every area has its own culture, way of life, way of how things operate. I'm sure they don't treat in these big cities. I know for a fact they don't treat certain neighborhoods the way they treat other neighborhoods. And this is something that we have to really think about. Change won't come unless we change it. Nobody will save us unless we try to save ourselves. If you're in the pit and you're trying to climb out, if you don't fight for yourself and at least reach to try to get out, who's going to extend a hand to you? City of Memphis, this is your chance. Make it count. Seriously, make it count, man. I'm not just talking about men. I'm talking about women. Scorpion unit messed up a lot of people, psychologically and physically. You got to have this stuff documented. They document every crime we do, but we don't never document every complaint they do against us as people. It's your time. I just wanted to speak about that. But yeah, guys, Mayor Strickland, my girl CJ Davis, she on it. You know why? Because it really ain't got nothing to do with them. They just investigating, doing their due diligence to make sure people ain't getting unjustly beaten, getting the crap beat out of them. But they will find stuff. They always do. If they find stuff in Minnesota, best believe in Minneapolis, best believe they're going to find something in Memphis. Trust me. All in all, man, it's a good thing. They're doing something, you know, but we got to help them because they can't do everything. Now, I'm not from Memphis. If I was in Jersey and this happened, I could tell my stories about times when I was up there. But I mean, we need change. And that's just not just in Memphis. This story just sparked me to say that to you. It's everywhere. It is. I mean, if you want your communities and stuff to flourish and you want to be just as competitive, successfully, socially as any other social class in the United States, I know I do. We got to start getting rid of we got to start cleaning up. And it starts with each one of us. We all got a heart that beat in our chest that stand for something. Each of us came into this world by ourselves and we will leave by ourselves. What legacy will you leave your children's children? I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Guys, I'm sorry I went a little off, but I mean, that was on my heart to say that to y'all. I mean, I got a lot of love for my subscribers and those that are not my subscribers. But I mean, I just want you to learn something or at least feel something when you leave here. You may not like me or the topics, but I mean, in every video, I try to say something positive that you can take with you. I'll see you in the next video. R.I.P. Tyree Nichols.